It's about the aggression, the violence and the intimidation that's faced by women that are assembling to discuss their sex-based rights in this city. I am involved in organising events and attending events, and we get excessively protested by aggressive trans activists because just the statement of us assembling and to talk about our sex-based rights is identified as transphobic. So I would just like to ask the Deputy Mayor and the Mayor, do you think women discussing sex-based rights are transphobic? Is police order legislation being wrongly applied? And what can you do as our Mayor with responsibility for policing to ensure that plurality of views and free speech for expression of what are commonly held beliefs and are protected in law?
I don't know whether, because obviously there's an operational policing angle as well in the question, so maybe Kate or Terry may want to comment as well. I mean, the answer to your question is, as a city region, we have always supported people's right to free speech and protest. That runs deep in the city. Even if sometimes that is challenging for other people, but that's the way we've always done it. And you know, we often will speak to GMP about that tradition, and that we don't favour heavy-handed policing to stop protest. And in the kind of instances that you've mentioned, I think there has been a kind of an approach there, which is facilitate, is to allow people to do what they want. But there's a caveat, and that is as long as there's no intimidation linked to it, or any incitement, if you like, against other people. So GMP will police on that basis when it comes to protest in the city, and I think they do it well. It's tough, but they do it well. And what we're trying to do is to kind of allow that to happen, but without, if you like, without, as I say, intimidation or harassment or incitement. And that's what we try and do. Kate, I don't know whether you would want to add anything to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, women have a right to meet, to protect their sex-based rights and discuss that. Of course, people who want to campaign for the rights and interests of transgender people who suffer some of the most appalling abuse, actually, in the country, have the right to do that. And people can disagree, and we have always had the right to disagree and to try to disagree respectfully. What's not acceptable in any circumstances is intimidation, harassment. I know some of the women who were at the recent events at the People's History Museum, which you may know about, you may have been there, and I know that they felt that Greater Manchester Police, if I was told, handled the situation well and protected the women who were at the meeting inside the museum when they were leaving. If there are allegations made, and I think there may have been, of criminal behaviour, public order offences, the police will, and I believe are, fairly and independently, impartially investigating them, and that's what Andy and I would expect the police to do. So it's absolutely right that people have the right to have their say, but they have to do that within the law, and that is what we will expect Greater Manchester Police to uphold, and I know you will, Terry.
Yeah, I mean, GMP, so I did most of my service in Lancs, and there wasn't loads of protest, if I'm being honest, in Lancs. You'd get it now and again. I've had 2 years here now. Every weekend we police protest, certainly in the city centre. I can't think of a weekend where we've not had, and there's lots of people protesting about lots of different things. I think that's a strength in Manchester. People can have an opinion. Quite often we're in the middle, and it is an objective opinion that we try and reach within it. What I would say is that what we do have is some very experienced officers that perform a role of protester liaison officers. They normally wear the blue bibs. If if you're involved in protest, those people are the ones that are doing it week in, week out. They try and get the balance right between both sides. We try and stay out of debate. We need to be objective. We will only step in, usually, if there is law breaking within it, you know, be it assaults, etc., etc. And we have intervened in some of those instances, some of which I'm aware of, some of which I probably won't be. If you want to catch us after, if there's any particular things, I can put you in contact with the teams that would actually probably be policing those sides. I could get you a point of contact for the protester liaison. There is no exact science to policing protest, is the honest view, and we try and maintain the best balance we can. The strength in Manchester is the experience that we have in protest. Like I say, the beauty of Manchester is every week for different things. But if you want to collar us after, I'm quite happy to chat it through.